UndergroundHipHop.com, Super Rockin' DJ on and on. Very special guest today. Some of y'all might remember him from the Black Star Movement, collaborations with High Tech. You might have bought a book out of his bookstore one day, man. He means a lot of things to a lot of different people. Ladies and gentlemen, very happy to have Blacksmith Records own Talib Kweli in the house. The lyrics stick to your ribs. Thank you for being on UndergroundHipHop.com.
Oh no, thank you for having me.
Now let's get into it. First, before we talk to the rapper Talib Kweli, let's talk to the businessman. The whole Blacksmith label jumping off. Of course, with your longtime manager, you kicked that off. Number one, tell us a little bit about the label. But number two, you know more than anyone how record sales are going these days. Isn't it crazy to start a label right now?
Well, it's crazy to start a label if you are dependent on the formula of the music business. If you can't see outside of the formula, if it's just about going to videos and get artists on mainstream radio and that's it, that formula has kind of died a long time ago. There are artists out there who are prolific, who exist outside of the music industry, who've been starting businesses and putting their music out independently, and those are the artists that I actually took my cues from.
Well, and speaking of non-traditional ways of getting stuff out, talk about the project with Madlib, the Liberation joint. That initially, cats were just getting it off the internet.
Yeah. I mean, the Liberation joint was a joint that I wanted to do for the sake of music, with business relationships and people being in different places and sample clearance issues. It's just sometimes hard to just do music for the sake of it. And being that I'm a major label artist, I wanted to do something that just didn't deal with that at all. And so, I asked Madlib if I could put it out, and he said I could. And so I figured the best way to deal with it without any headaches is just putting it on the internet.
Now, I mean, it sounds crazy, but that's everyone was talking about it. I mean, that's the type of shit people need to be on.
Also, man, people forget sometimes. It's like my music hasn't changed that much as far as what I deal with. But when you start getting more exposure, that audience that bought the Liberation, they seem to sometimes forget what I do musically. So I needed to give them that. I don't feel like the Liberation is that much different than the other music I put out there. But I think the way I put it out there made it feel different.
Now, you've obviously spanned an incredible career. You've been through a couple of different chambers. Number one with Mos Def, you did the High Tech thing. You saw some commercial success with Quality. Had some joints on there, and now, of course, the Blacksmith thing. If you could look at any one of those spans, which one of those spans do you think you grew most personally and as an artist?
I think now, having to have the ball in my court and having to be responsible for every aspect of it, now I feel like I'm in my best growth period. But I think any artist, any real artist, their growth period, their best growth period is the one they're in right now. I think that's how art, progresses. It's like you always want it to be better. And I personally feel like I have fans who embrace my earlier work, because of how it affected them at the time it came out. But on a technical scale, when I weigh my music, my earlier work to my newer work, I feel like the newer work is blowing the old work out the water. And I think my perspective is different because I'm constantly trying to improve myself, whereas some people sometimes get attached to a project and they can't see beyond the project they attached to. But technically, is always a progression.
And speaking of progression, of course, Eardrum is the new joint that everybody's talking about. Can you give us a little insight on what we can expect on the album?
On the album, we have produced by Pete Rock and Madlib, Kanye, Just Blaze, High Tech, DJ Khalil. We got KRS One on the album, Nora Jones, UGK, Jean Grey, music. I'm excited about it.
Well, the nature of the beast, UndergroundHipHop.com, got a lot of really emotional kids who spend 9 hours a day on the internet forums, and they get a kick out of that. One of the big, we got to relate to them, inquiring minds want to know, the latest Talib Kweli urban legend story on the net is there was a party going on and a female got emotional, and is that just to quell the youngsters?
Well, yeah, I was at a party at 50 Cent house and I had an argument with my girl that turned physical, and when you're a passionate person, man, you inspire passion in women. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they get overly passionate and they get out of pocket. You know, and that's what it was. It was, it was something that happens between people that, because we happen to be famous people and happen to be at somebody's famous house, got blown completely out of proportion. You know, but it was, it was a domestic situation that any real dude go through, and I think that you know, it's you're more like a real dude to go through that than you are to be talking about it on the internet. That's really a bitch move more than anything, I think.
And there it is. All right, so 2007, of course, blacksmith thing. Eardrum is coming out. What else can we look out for Talib Kweli?
You can definitely look out for the Liberation on okplayer.com. Hit me up on myspace.com/Talib Kweli and talibkweli.com. I'm working on my next mixtape, Qualywood, Volume 1. And the Blacksmith, the Movement mixtape is still in store.
And that's what it is. Undergroundhiphop.com. Talib Kweli, yo.